In this video, I'm going to show you how to create an image upload feature that will also display a UI progress view, which will show how much of an image has been uploaded. For example, user can select an image by tapping an upload button here. It will present user with the image picker. User will select an image, and as soon as the image is selected, it will start uploading. Like this, and the progress view will show how much of an image has been uploaded in percent, and then we will display it in a label here. And you can create a different interface. For example, you can have one button which will simply select an image and another button which will start an upload. I put this code all in one button. Okay, so let's begin. I will create a new project, single view application, and I will call it my image upload example with progress view. Okay, create. And Xcode created a new project. I'll go to main storyboard and I will resize the default view controller to iPhone 4". Okay, so we will not create any other view controllers, we'll just use this one. Okay, well, the first thing that I need to create is image view. I will find image view in my objects library, drag it and drop it somewhere. I'll resize it to a smaller one. I don't need it to be that big. Okay, something like this. And then I need a button. I will drag and position button here. I will change this button to, I'll change its label to upload, resize it a little bit, position on the center, and I will change its background color to, I'll change its background color to something like blue and tint color to white. Okay, and now we need a progress. I'll type progress, and progress view is right here, so I'll grab the progress view and position it below the button, resize it. Okay, and if I select the progress view, here it has the progress tint color, which is default, and track tint color. I will choose progress tint color to green so that you can see what it is. This is the progress tint color, and the track tint color to gray. Okay, and the progress can be from 0 or 1, but you can increase it like this up to 1. 1 is the maximum, so I will set it to 0, so that because once we start this application and upload did not start, we want it to be set to 0. And we need a label, so let me create a label, position it right below the progress view, select the label, and I'll type 0%. Align it to the center, and I will just decrease a little bit the font size so that 100% fits into it, something like this. Okay, next that I like to do, okay, well, let's run this example and see how it looks. Okay, so the image is not visible because it is not set, and some of the button is not aligned to the center, and label is not aligned to the center progress view. So I will fix all these things now. So first of all, when the image is not set, I like that it displays some background color. For example, I will select an image and I'll select background and choose a light gray color for it. And the rest of the alignments I can simply fix by selecting view controller, and then going down here we have 3 buttons here that will help us work with constraints, and I will reset to suggested constraints. let the Xcode fix the user interface. Now I will stop it and run it again. Okay, now I have everything fixed. The image is not set and I have a gray background color. Upload button is at the center and everything looks good. Okay, so now let's start creating some outlets. I'll close this, hide my left side panel, select View Controller and open it in Assistant Editor. Okay, I don't need right side panel as well. And the first outlet that I will create is for image view. So I'll select image view, hold Control button on my keyboard, drag and drop it somewhere here. Okay, and I will call it my image view, something like this. My image view. Okay. The next outlet that I will create is for upload button, and I will call it upload button. Okay. And the next one is for progress view, and I will call it something like image upload progress view. And for the label, come on, okay, and I will call it progress label. Okay, so outlets is created and we can start working with them. Okay, so to begin with, we need to create an action for our button. So I'll select the button, hold Control button on my keyboard, click, drag and drop it, and for the connection type I will choose action and I will name it upload button tapped. Okay, so when user taps on upload button, we want to present the image picker controller and let user select the image. And for this image picker controller to work, we need to first make our view controller to conform to some of the protocol protocols, and one of them is UIImagePickerController delegate. So I'll type it picker controller, UIImagePickerController delegate, and the other one is UI navigation controller delegate. Okay. And each of these delegates, each of these protocols has methods that can be implemented. We will need to work with UIImagePickerController delegate. So if I hold Control button on my keyboard and then tap on this UIImagePickerController delegate name, I will go to the definition of this protocol and I will see that it has a couple of optional functions that can be implemented. I will need to work with both of them, so I will simply copy them and go back to my code. And paste them below the function. I will get rid of optional keyword and will add body implementation like this. Okay, so now we are ready to write code. Okay, the first that we need to do when user taps on upload button, we need to instantiate image picker controller. So I will do just that. The video can be very long, so to speed it up, I have actually prepared little pieces of code that I can reuse. Okay, so when user taps on upload button, we instantiate UIImagePickerController, and this is the way we do it. And then very important, we set a delegate to self, and this will tell our application where to look for these two functions. If you don't do this, your example will not work. Okay, the next thing that we need to do is to set the source type for our image picker controller, and the source type should be photo library. There are two, one of them is camera and another is photo library, because we want user to pick a photo from photo library. We need to choose photo library. And the last thing, we need to present this image picker controller so that user can go into their photo libraries and pick one. Okay, as soon as user makes their selection, as soon as they select an image, this function will be called. And here, when the function is called, we need to grab image information, which is going to be in the info object. So I'll paste a little code that I have prepared. So we will need to grab, address the info object and get from that info object UIImagePickerController original image, and then set it to our image view. Our image view is here, and we just created an outlet for it. It's called MyImageView. So this is what we do. We say myImageView.image equals to to the original image that user picked. And once the image is selected, I do not need that gray background anymore. So I clear it. So I say image view background color equals to clear color. So I clear the background and I dismiss view controller with images. Okay, and well, actually I'm not going to write any code for cancel button, and this is this function will trigger when user taps on cancel button, so I'll just delete it anyways. Okay, so let's try running this code and see if our image picker controller works. So I'll stop it and run it. Okay, I tap on upload button. I'm presented with image picker controller. I need to give permissions. Would you like to access it says my application would like to access my photos. I say okay, and I have my photo library. I go to photos and select one. Okay, and it is set to my image view. Okay, very good. Next we can start uploading image. So I will create a function and I'll call it upload image, and I will declare it here, func upload image, and I will add at this moment an empty body implementation. Okay, so I've created a function, and I'm calling this function right after dismiss view controller is called. In the upload function, I need to grab the image and check if it's not null, because if image is null, we do not want to upload an empty image. And the way we do it is this. So we access our image view. This is our image view, and we say image view.image, and then we get a UI image JPEG representation. Well, most of the images, I think all of them are on, if they're taken by iPhone, are JPEG. There could be PNG images, and in that case you will you can use a different function. I think it's called UI image PNG representation. But anyway, for image JPEG representation will work for all images that are taken by your iPhone device. Okay, we grant the image, and then we check if image data is not null, and if it's null, we return. We do not want to upload an empty image. And once it's done, we can disable the upload button so that user doesn't tap on it twice, because what can happen is the upload might take some time, or user might just tap on it again if upload is taking a very long time, and then trigger the image picker controller and try to upload the function again. So we disable the button, and we actually start uploading our image. Okay, so the next thing that we will do, we will actually start creating HTTP request, because image data is going to be sent over HTTP request, and that's going to be an HTTP post. So first that we need to do, we need to declare, we need to create an SURL, and it's going to be a URL to a script that accepts that image. In my previous video, in one of my previous videos, created image upload example, and for that example I created a PHP script that uploads file. You can find it on my Swift developer blog. So if you go to Swift developer blog and search for image upload example, you will find a PHP code that accepts image. This is the PHP code. I will make a reference in the description to this video to the source code of this file, so you don't have to write it yourself. But if you if you have already your PHP script, or maybe it's a JavaScript, then you don't need it. Okay, so we have a script, and then we create an HTTP request, and we set a couple of important properties to it. It needs to be post, and the header value for connection field should be keep alive. Okay, so continue. Continue working with our HTTP request. The next couple of functions, I mean a couple of lines of code that you need to do is you need to create a session configuration, which is an SURL session configuration, and it should be a default one. And then you need to create an SURL session with the configuration that you've just created, and delegate self. Here's another delegate, and there are a few more protocols that we need our view controller to convert to. So I will there are a number of them, so I'll just copy them and put a comma here and paste them. So one of them is, oops, I'm sorry, this is an extra one. So one of them is an SURL session delegate, an SURL session task delegate, an SURL session data delegate. And for our image upload to work, we need to go and implement some of the functions that, for example, an SURL session delegate has. But before we do it, there are a couple of lines of code that we need to add to our function, and this is to start upload image with the task. So the function, we access session and we call function upload task with the request, and to this function we pass our HTTP request, and we pass the image data which we just read here. Okay, so we pass HTTP request and image data, and we call task resume. Okay, so next let's go and implement the NSURL session delegate. Again, if you hold command button on your keyboard and then click on NSURL session delegate, you will go to this protocol, and there are plenty of functions that you will see. The ones that we need, one of them is called did complete with error. So if I search for did complete with error, an SURL session, yes, this is the one, and this one belongs to, let's just look up, to an SURL session task delegate. Okay, so I will copy this, go back to my code, and we'll paste it here. We'll delete optional, Okay, so this function will be called if something happened. For example, we started uploading image and there was something with internet connection and image did not get uploaded. So in that case, for example, if there is a timeout or something, we can display an alert message, and I will simply use UILalertView to display alert message, and as a message of that alert message, I will use an error object. An error object will contain a description of an error. So I will access error object and then I'll use localized description to grab that description message. And there will be only one button. Okay, so once user taps on that button, alert will be disappeared. And of course, because alert message, because an error happened and our button, upload button was disabled, we need to enable upload button so that a user can start uploading their image again. Okay, so the next, let's go and look for another function. The next function that we need to implement is the one that actually sends, it's called did send body data. Okay, so this is the one, so I'll just copy this function, go down my code here, and I will paste it here. Delete optional keyword and add a function implementation. Okay, so now this function will be called when our HTTP request sent some data to a server, and these two variables like bytes sent and total bytes sent and total bytes expected to be sent, they will all be populated with relative information. So what we can do, we can grab that information and we can set it to our progress view. Well, first of all, we need to calculate what is the progress. So what we will do, we will grab the total bytes sent and convert it into float, and we will grab the total bytes expected to be sent, and we will divide this two. Total bytes sent divided by total bytes expected to be sent, and that will be our progress, upload progress. And then we will go to image upload progress component. We've created an outlet for our UI progress view. This is here, image upload progress view. It's our UI progress view, and UI progress view has progress which accepts a value, a float value. This is why we are converting it all to floats. Okay, and the last thing that we can do or that we need to do is we need to update our progress label. So because progress is our progress label displays percent, like 20%, 30%, but the progress value is actually anything between 0 and 1. We need to take that value, for example 0.3 or 0.4, 0.5, and types it 100 to convert it to percent, and then we update our progress label with that percent. Okay, and once the image is uploaded, there will be a response from a server side. For example, my PHP script sends some confirmation back that the image is uploaded, and that is my confirmation is a JSON document. So there is another function that we need to implement from protocol. So if I go back to my NS session protocol list, I need to look for a function that's called did receive response. Did receive response. This is the one, NSURL, and that comes from NSURL session data delegate. So I will take this function and I'll paste it below. Okay, and we'll implement its body. So what do we want to do when we receive a response and the image is 100% uploaded? Well, depending on your application, in my case I want to simply enable upload button again, because remember, just before we started uploading image here, just before creating and sending our HTTP post request, we disabled upload button. So now when image is uploaded, we need to enable it again. And this is basically it. So now let's run our example and see if it works. Okay, so we tap on upload button, we select an image, and upload is about to begin. Yes, I see my progress view started climbing up. It's probably internet connection is slow, or my Swift developer block is not accepting it very good. So let's see if it's going to time out. So 7% so far. Yes, it's time out. So the request time out, and what just happened, our function NSURL session did complete with error was called. So now I tap on OK, and upload button is enabled again. And I see that it stopped at 7%. Let's select a different picture. Let's select, for example, this one, and try again. Oh, now this time it went very fast. It went all the way to 100%, and the upload is successful, enabled. Upload button is enabled. Let's try a different picture. Again, it's sending, done. Okay, so this is it for this video. I hope it will work for you very well. If it doesn't for some reason, leave me a comment and send me a message, and I will try to help you as soon as I can.